Yes, you read the title, and no, this is not clickbait. This is 100% real, and this is probably one of the hardest challenges I've ever had to take on from the previous challenges I've done in the past. And also, this is because we've reached 1,000 subscribers, and I absolutely thank every single one of you for doing this, and if it wasn't for all of you, this would not be happening. A normal NASCAR race at Daytona would be 200 laps, but we're not going to stop there, we're going to keep it going. That's right, not 200 laps, 500 laps. Tempting, but that's not enough. That's only about halfway what we're doing. 1,000. That's right, 1,000 laps around a 2.5 mile racetrack. The difficulty will be unbeatable. And to make sure I'm not cheating whatsoever, because I want you guys to have trust in me, everything will be on the hardest setting. Rewinds will be turned off. It'll be on manual, means I have to actually change the gear. ABS and steering assist will be turned off along with friction. This is to make sure I don't cheat. And I'd say we're ready to go racing now, so there's no turning back now. And finally, before we begin the race, I'm going to double check to make sure everything's on normally. That's all the drivers that will be in the race. And the assist, well, they're staying as they are. So I'd say we're now ready to go racing. And gentlemen, start your engines. Alright guys, we are officially buckled in the NASCAR Gaming Mobile. I hope you sit back, relax and enjoy this race. And now 1,000 laps has now begun. And here we go for 1,000 laps. This is going to be a long one. I have to make sure every single time I come out pit road, because pit stops will be available, that I'm going to have to change the gear correctly so I don't screw up the transmission, because full damage will be on, and that means any hit with the outside wall could mean suspension damage. As you see right now, we're going to possibly make it 3 wide. I think we're going to. Yes, we're going to make it 3 wide, but I don't feel comfortable. I thought there was going to be contact, so I'm going to have to check up. And I even know there's still space there. It's a silly move of mine, but I just felt that we weren't going to make it. And we are now going to get a draft of the 24 in front of us, not the one to the side of us, and we're going to try and see if we can overtake the 24 to the side of us, since there's loads of them. But because there's no spotter in Forza, I'm not too sure if I'm clear or not. You see right there, thankfully I did not go up. And later on that lap, we're going to try and make it 3 wide coming off turn number 4. That's going to be an aggressive move, and I don't think I have enough space, so I'm going to have to possibly check up. Yeah, I'm going to check up because I didn't feel there was enough room to make it 3 wide. On lap 6, coming out of turn number 2, we're going to make it almost 3 wide, but then I almost made contact with the 24, and I'm going to have to once again check up. Now to this day, I still don't understand what happened on lap number 11. I think the car kind of got a bit loose, and all I know is I hit the wall and I lose momentum. The only way I can check the chase view is to check for any damage, and thankfully there's no damage and no severe damage, only just a few scrapes. On lap number 28, me and the leader both came down pit road early, and a lap later everyone else came in, and thankfully they slowed down the leader so I can still at the lead. On lap 53, I came down pit road early and I almost made contact with 2 drivers coming out a lap later. Thankfully I didn't wreck them because I was soon able to steal back the lead. On lap 74 I had to give way to the outside lane because of the blue Snickers car Kyle Busch overtaking me, but thankfully he's a lap down, and I decided to have a fun battle, and unfortunately it came to an end where I had to come into pit road a few laps later. And after I lost the lead due to pit stops, I thankfully regained it a few laps later. And just like that, we had completed 100 laps. We are now only 1/10 of the way through the race. We can't stop now, we have to keep going. And once again, after a green flag pit stop cycle, I almost crashed into the back of the 22 car. I was that focused looking ahead, I forgot to block the outside lane for when Joey Logano and Chase Elliott came along, and I would fall back down to 3rd. When I was looking back to look at my beautiful car, I was not focusing very well, and I accidentally clipped the wall, and I would lose a bunch of momentum and I would not be able to catch up, and thankfully no damage to the car, to the suspension or anything. But thankfully, coming out to lap 170, I would be levelled side by side with the leader and hoping to fight back for first place and to lead again. Whilst hunting down the 22, I realised Gen 6 was better on the outside lane, and unfortunately I did clip the wall in the process. But the rest of those laps were clean, and we've now begun lap 200, which is 500 miles, the distance of the Daytona 500. And this also just proves how I have to be extra careful when it came to pit stops, because I almost just barely made it through a gap, which I almost could have made contact and could have wrecked out of. But after a while of those pit stops and I was leading, I was getting the hang of using the outside lane a lot without clipping the wall, and to my surprise the 22 was right there, and it kind of made me jump a little bit, and I accidentally clipped the wall and would lose the lead. Now this was slightly a problem, because usually I'd be coming in pits first, but now I was coming in second, and that could change positions for the whole race. This could be a problem. problem. Many laps later, just past the lap 300, I had somehow saved the car from this insane moment when I hit the wall and it got me loose. I could have spun around, and what I was even more surprised about, I had not only no damage to the actual car, but also no damage to the suspension. What luck. But as we all know, not every single bit of luck actually lasts, and when the next time I'd hit the wall, it would knock off my spoiler. My beautiful spoiler's now gone. But good news, I did find my spoiler at the end of pit road. Now I did have to come down pit road exactly one lap after lap 400, but I was in third position because I lost the lead because of the contact. But thankfully, luck was on my side once again, because there was a lap car who just came out the pit road, who thankfully slowed down second and first and just tightly made it through. But coming to lap 480, I think I noticed some time up, because it turned out there was an actual crash, and it turned out the AI must have been that aggressive, and I almost made contact here as well. And just like that, we had officially reached lap 500 halfway in the race. We are currently leading, and last place is 4 laps down. What a race so far. And we're only halfway through 1,000 laps, we're on lap 500, and not too bad damage. I thought it'd be a lot worse, except for the fact there's no spoiler. That's sad. But a little while after that, I'll have my first incident of the day. I'll clip the wall badly and from contact from the 18, and I ended up getting loose, and I'll spin along the backstretch infield. And this whole time I was praying not to hit the wall, because that would be lethal. But thankfully, I kept it off the wall by quite a margin of distance. And I took the road course bus stop, and I safely got back on the track. And get this, I was still first. In fact, by this point in the race, unlike earlier where if I went down pit road I'll lose the leader and one lap later I'll have to hunt back down the leader, this time I was actually quite far ahead, and I didn't really have anyone in sight by this point, so I had a far lead. And the racing actually remained quite clean, and so lap 600 began, and we have officially had 400 laps to go. Then something really bizarre happened. One of the drivers came back onto the track, obviously missing the entrance to pit road, and they just wiped out the field. Thankfully I avoided it. Just like I said earlier about second place, I actually surprisingly lapped them. Oh, and here's a lesson. Don't use the yellow line, don't go below the groove, because by doing so I had my second full proper incident where I'd get loose because the yellow line, and the car would be upset. I'd spin down the, head towards the travel infield, but thankfully I'll keep it off the wall, and that's not where it ends. When I go back into first person view to carry on the race, the 18 comes speeding onto pit road and just barely misses me. What pot luck. But apart from that, the rest of the laps remained clean, and so lap 700 then began. But whilst racing after some pit stops, I did notice the unrealistic side of Forza. I noticed 2 drivers stuck to each other. I mean, that must be a weird glitch. And earlier when I said I should have learnt my lesson about using the yellow line, apparently at the time I did not, because I'd then once again get loose again, and I'll spin the car, and this time I'd actually hit the wall, and I thought to myself, I might as well, since we're near the pit stop cycle, I might as well come in. But the drama doesn't stop there, because the whole track was blocked with what I call a multi-car pile-up, and I just barely made it through. And get this, the drama doesn't stop there. I almost collided because some guy, I do not know what they were doing. I got loose and I saved it. I mean, seriously, what was I only thinking? Oh yeah, and I thought I was clear. I apparently was not. Wow, what a rough last 100 laps. Now we're officially at 800, and that is 200 laps to go, aka 500 miles remain. But after some drivers came off pit road, with a bunch of guys like me who came off pit road laps ago, they blocked up the way and they would slow down, and I would try and make a move. And once again, I should have learned about the yellow line rule, and for the 3rd time I think in this video so far, I'll go for a spin, but thankfully I'll keep it off the wall, so thankfully we are safe so far. 22 laps after that incident, I was being a bit stupid, and I was like, I had enough of this 22 car being stuck behind him, so I decided to just put him into the wall. A bit of a dirty move, I will admit it, and thankfully I had no damage, but I definitely deserved some damage there though. And I will admit it, I think I got Karma's back, and I actually am proud of it because I deserved it. And this time, guess what? It damages the whole car. But I'm not ready to go down pit road yet, so what do I decide to do? That's right, I'm leading. I decided I'll stay out on the track for a few more laps just to try and see if I can actually hold on. But it's pretty clear I'm going slow, I'm blocking these guys, so I'm going to have to come down pit road. And to even show you how badly damaged up the suspensions are, I came on the brakes slightly and the car almost spun out. And this is it, the final showdown. 100 laps remain. 100 laps will go by very quickly, and by this point I'm very excited. Now I did forget to record this bit, I'm sorry about that, but the Red Skittles car made contact with me, putting me into the wall, and that gave me damage. Unfortunately, this was looking to be quite unlucky, especially with less than 100 laps to go. So unfortunately that meant I'll have to come down pit road. And so I did, but thankfully I was laps ahead of second place, so I decided I was going to do it. On lap 980 would be the official final time we'll have to come down pit road for today's race. Well, I can't blame myself for doing this, because I was pretty excited coming to 5 laps to go. Now, I was kind of hugging the yellow line, and once you hug that line, your car kind of gets dragged. I tried to save it, and I ended up going down, spinning down the infield for the 4th time, and just barely avoid the arm coat barrier down the backstretch. What luck. But coming to the final lap, me and a bunch of others were packed up, and I knew this was going to be a crazy final lap. And it's now official, 1 lap to go. We've reached lap 1000, but now all we need to do is to finish the lap, to finish the entire race. Now I'll say it, I did make once again a silly move. There's some cones down the backstretch, and I tried to hit them since it was the final lap. When doing so, that would make my car wobble and extremely loose. I tried to save it. When doing so, that made it worse, and then the 18 Skittles car with Car Bush would end up hitting me. I'd almost flip over from everyone else trying to get by me, and now I was officially wounded. My car was destroyed, and I have to limp my way back to the finish line to finish this race. But thankfully hard work pays off, because second place was laps down after all the hard work, and we'll go on to win 1,000 laps, 2,500 miles, 5 times the distance of the Daytona 500, and we'll win this extremely long race. And it's been the hardest challenge I've ever done, and to show you how long, 12 hours and 44 minutes worth of racing, and of course I had to have some breaks. It's just too unbearable. Hey guys, I'm a Daytona 2500 champion, biggest endurance race I'm probably ever done and probably will ever do. I probably won't do this again. I was worried my Xbox might blow up. And now it's the bit we've all been waiting for, the extremely long credits. As you all know, doing the Goliath in Forza Horizon will get you loads of credits, but doing 1000 laps of Daytona will give you loads. And believe me, this went on for like 5 minutes, and I'm going to have to probably cut this because it goes on for quite a while, and thankfully, hard work does pay off. So this entire race got me from level 41 to level 80, and now I'm a richer man. And now a quick word from me. If it wasn't for you guys, I probably never would have been able to do this challenge at all. So I'm absolutely thankful, and thank you everyone for subscribing to this YouTube channel. I can't believe we're at 1,000 subscribers, and I absolutely thank everyone. This has been a huge achievement for me. And if you haven't already, leave a like, enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe so we can begin our brand new journey to, well, whatever happens next. Thank you so much for watching.